This video is sponsored by Tekanova, helping you keep a closer eye on your imaginary friends.
They're everywhere!
Hey Eric, remember Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yeah, the series where Beauregard Yukasu and his friend Mac go through adventures in an impossibly large house organized by an old woman that seems very childish compared to her very prim and proper imaginary friend.
Yeah. I wonder if you can relate talking to an imaginary turtle. So whatever happened to that show?
Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. In August of 2004, Lauren Faust, Craig McCracken, and a variety of other talented people at the Cartoon Network started creating Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. This show, while weird, presented a unique story about what happens to our imaginary friends after childhood, and it also explains how some of those fun creatures can be adopted by a new generation. I have fond memories of this show, stretching back from wonderful episodes like House of Blues, Dinner is Swerved, and Good Will's Hunting, where Wilt revisits his past, and we as an audience learned about what caused two of his very clear deformities. This is one of the shows that made my childhood, but looking back, it didn't exactly end on a strong note. The final episode featured Blue thinking that Mac was going to move, thus allowing him to be adopted like any of the other imaginary friends. But the episode ends with what felt like a cliffhanger and reversed the intro that we've grown to know for many years before showing one final card saying, "Thanks for watching, C and Lauren," in reference to the creators Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust. So what led to this point? Why did this once enjoyable series bite the dust in a relatively unsatisfying finale? Well, let's wind the clock back to the first few seasons. This show actually started out on a really good note, with its first episode setting new records for the network. It continued to enjoy a large amount of success, leading into its third season with merchandise, web games, and parades. You know, Blue, you could try to lip sync for like 5 seconds. Even with that terrible display of dedication, Foster's was doing pretty well. However, during and after season 4, the show started to go through some big changes, and to understand why, we have to go into a little bit of Cartoon Network's history. From 2001 to 2007, Jim Samples was the general manager and executive vice president for Cartoon Network. While his career started off on a good note with shows like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Codename Kids Next Door, Samurai Jack, and the continuation of all the other original shows on Cartoon Network, as well as creating Adult Swim, which revived Family Guy through reruns, things took a turn for the worst around 2004 to 2005. The ratings started to drop in favor of Disney and Nickelodeon, which hosted live-action shows and sitcoms like Hannah Montana, Drake and Josh, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, oh, I remember that one, and so on. In an attempt to stay relevant, Cartoon Network started running live-action cartoon movies like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Cats and Dogs, and The Goonies. This must have done well because in 2006 they started production on their own live-action movie called Reanimated. While all of this was happening, the writing staff of Foster's Home started to shift around a bit. Some writers like Adam Pave, Amy Keating-Rogers,
Hey, she writes for MLP,
and Craig Lewis moved on to their own projects like Out of Jimmy's Head, Cartoon Network Racing, and Saul the Mole Men, respectively. Season 4 of Foster still had a large amount of success, but in Season 5, the majority of the writing staff was fresh meat, most of which only had one episode each. To compound their problems, there was a huge gap between seasons, likely caused by the Cartoon Network Invaded series, which didn't really help the show overall. This, once again, was a result of Cartoon Network's management, as Jim Samples was replaced by Stuart Snyder near the beginning of Season 5. Jim started moving the network onto live-action shows, and Stuart followed suit when he took over. He started firing a lot of the Cartoon Network staff, and expectedly, this didn't help Foster's deteriorating state. Stewart was the president during the time where Cartoon Network was at odds with its name and realized this mistake when it was too late for Foster's. For the last 2 seasons, the show had a few enjoyable episodes, but without some of the original writers present, the episodes just didn't have the same flair to them. And so, in 2009, the show had its last episode, and we all said goodbye to this house of imaginary friends. Left to wonder where they went. If only we had some form of camera watching them in every waking moment. Like me, you too can feel secure and secure, just secure, within your home today by purchasing one of these lovely cameras from Tekanova.
They'll be Tekanova your insecurities. I mean, with 360p on their most premium of products, you can't possibly go wrong. Like the KYS 360 HD. It starts as low as $1 a month. You can't possibly go wrong. That's so cheap I was given 5 for this promo! But it gets even cheaper because you can get 50% off by using the promo code LooneyTurtle at checkout. Now back to you, Eric!
That was me, so...